Yeah, guys, thank you for joining us in the Cosmos ecosystem today, so to say. Before we get started, can you maybe briefly introduce yourself? So maybe let's start with you, Esra, and then you can take the line on.
Hi, everyone. It's great to meet you all here. I'm Esra Özdemir. I'm working for EY Turkey. I'm the desk leader for the blockchain desk over there. Also, I am a financial auditor for the last 16 years. Now I'm working on blockchain and mixing it up with blockchain, and we'll see how it goes.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Yuri, for inviting me. My name is Adilah Hussien. You can call me Adi. And I'm the Web3 lead for Vodafone Digital Asset Broker. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, hello. My name is Wolfgang Michael Kraus, and I'm a Web3 lead and consultant at Deutsche Telekom.
Nice. Yeah, I think we have a lot to unpack today. But yeah, let's start with the sentiment. And I think that's a very good question for you, Esra, because you also work with a lot of enterprises in your on a daily basis. So my first question is actually pretty obvious. So last year was a very brutal year with the FTX collapse, with the Terra collapse. So I also think a lot of trust has been lost, especially also with 3AC. So a lot of big players just vanished. So my question for you is, how are institutions and enterprises observing the crypto landscape nowadays, especially your clients, so to say?
One of the main questions I get all the time. I think you said a very good word over there to start with, trust. Since the beginning, for the blockchain, we're always highlighting the trust word over there. And yes, with the brutal last year with FTX, 3AC, and all those scandals happening, we really lost the trust as the ecosystem. And it made it hard, it made my job hard to get the enterprises on board, actually. Then it was work, but now it's double work for that. But so far, I can say it's going good, because on one side, yes, the scandal was very bad, but on the other side, if you look from the bright side, we should learn from it, and actually the ecosystem is learning from it. Now we know that auditing it, doing the right controls, having efficient systems, makes it easier it makes all of our lives easier, and we can gain the trust back with that. So since then, we see the regulation works are increasing. Most of the timelines has been taken earlier, we can say. And every day we wake up with another regulative news on the news or the channels or the websites we look for. And I think we should take this as an opportunity for a lesson for all of us. The importance of having the regulation over there. That's what I'm actually working, mostly focused on it right now. And I think the regulations upcoming are mostly promising, and I know that everybody is trying to create an ecosystem-friendly one. The main aim for the regulations are not to limit this works that can be done over here, but instead supporting it with the trust over there. If you get the trust, it will be much more scalable. More people will be in it, and as enterprises come, the scalability gets increasingly high. So that's, I think we should focus on these scandals instead of, you know what, I am tired of talking about the SBF trials. So we all know what's going on there. We all know what happened back there. So I think that's the bad side, and we should get rid of that side and focus on the opportunity that it creates for all of us.
Yeah, you said something very interesting in terms of gaining back the trust. I think this is something we will touch base on in a second. And also you're very right with regulations increasing and also heading into the right direction, at least in Europe and in Asia, I feel like, especially with Mika now, with the staking, with the new staking laws. I think that's very, very lovely to see. But yeah, I think in terms of gaining back the trust, I think there are some enterprises that help with that. I was actually very surprised in Barcelona when I met your fellow team members from the Deutsche Telekom, how much the Deutsche Telekom has been doing in the crypto industry so far in terms of infrastructure providing. You're providing infrastructure on Ethereum via Stakewise, Polkadot, EWT, and so on and so forth. And besides that, you also work with Chainlink for oracles, which is lovely to see. So my question here is when did this started? I mean, you're very deep into the crypto space already, considering that you are such a large enterprise. So can you shed some light on this. So how did this happen? When did you decide to go all into Web3 like this? And yeah, I think like the procedure here would be very interesting to know.
Yeah, sure. So it started a few years ago, like it's probably like 5-6 years ago. So we had like a really small team of just enthusiasts, Web3 enthusiasts that just started to explore this space. And they built like several interest groups inside the telecom. And from this, like there was an exploration of a public blockchain domain. I mean, of course, there's like this private blockchain domain that's still of like industry interest, but we are really focusing on only public decentralized blockchain systems. So that's like it started back then, basically with Chainlink, and from there we explored other ecosystems like Celo and expanded to Polygon, Ethereum, Polkadot, and much more. So we are expanding quickly, and that's where it came from, just from some folks that were really interested in crypto and Web3. And now, like, it's growing rapidly, and also, like, the telecom has more and more interest in this space. And yeah, as we can see, like, yeah, maybe one thing regarding this trust thing. So, like, for the telecom, we have a huge or a good understanding on what happened in the past years. So this is not to blame on blockchain systems. It's basically blaming on centralized institutions that didn't really emphasize the transparency that public blockchain systems can provide. And so we are aware of this, and that's why we are also pushing for decentralization, for transparency. And yeah, and I would say we are a crucial participant in this area, because we actually provide decentralized infrastructure.
That's a very, very lovely way to put this, and it's also great to hear that you also view this the same way as we do in the crypto industry itself. But yeah, regarding providing decentralized infrastructure, also Vodafone is doing that nowadays. Adilah, we met in Barcelona as well. I was like very surprised how many telecommunication infrastructure providers there are. We mentioned a couple of blockchains that the Deutsche Telekom is providing infrastructure on. So I would like to hear from you what the procedure looks like. So how does it work? How are you basically elaborating on which blockchain you want to provide infrastructure on? How do you start your research? Are there any specific hurdles to overcome? Because obviously you can't do the same things as like a private validator can do. So yeah, could you please shed some light on that?
Thanks, Yuri. So before I get into answering that question, I think I should explain a little bit about digital asset broker, because it's at the core of how we make these decisions, right? So Vodafone Digital Asset Broker has a platform called the Economy of Things. And the goal of our company is really to allow devices to autonomously transact with each other. That means any device can be an economic agent. They can buy and sell. They can consume and generate data, right? So that's the core of what we are trying to achieve. So in making decisions of which protocol to join, which ecosystem to join, that's what we always come back to, right? So we have 3 sets of criteria. It's ecosystem, the business, and technical, right? At the ecosystem level, so on all 3 parts, we complete a due diligence process to understand what the ecosystem of that protocol is like, how many developers, users, what kind of applications there are there, how long has it been there, what's the reputation of this ecosystem in the general Web3 landscape, right? We also look at it from a business perspective, but when I say business, I specifically mean things like a use case, right? Because we have this goal to bring devices on chain that they can act as agents. Would joining this ecosystem help in that strategy? So it's a lot around that area, right? Whether it can help us move forward with our goals. And of course, the last part is all the technical stuff, right? Like scalability, interoperability, how easy is it to deploy and run? So these are the main criteria that we do. So typically we would do like a due diligence process. The first due diligence process we did took us 1 year. It was very long.
Okay.
It was on Chainlink. And because it was the first one that we did, everybody wanted to get involved and be part of the due diligence, right? So we had compliance teams in the UK, in Hong Kong, looking at it in terms of sanctions and all of this stuff. So it was a really long process, but we got there eventually. So now the cycle is a bit faster, which is good. But no, that's what we typically start with. We have something like a pipeline of protocols that are either we are interested in them or they have approached us and said, hey, would you want to get to know more about a protocol? Then typically we would schedule an introduction discussion, try to understand the protocol better, and then kind of prioritize them on this pipeline, right? So that's generally the process. I think the main challenges we have, they are very typical enterprise challenges. I'm sure Wolfgang knows this as well, right? So anything to do with reporting, compliance, finance, just opening an account to purchase tokens in order to run smart contracts, that took a long time as well. So these are the main things that we are still grappling with and hoping to make more optimized. Actually, on that note, I have something to say to Wolfgang. Wolfgang, on the Deutsche Telekom website, you guys now have a website on crypto staking for business partners, right?
Again?
Like on your Geschäftskunden, on your business partners, you have a business offering for crypto staking with 60 million assets under management, 6 protocols,
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
Thank you very much.
And typically when I talk to other enterprise or even people in Vodafone and we start talking about Web3 infrastructure, right? So either they're skeptical or interested, but then when I show them the Deutsche Telekom website, that Deutsche Telekom is doing this, everybody is like this. What? And then they're like, the next question is, can you please send me that link? And so, actually what they are doing is also, in a way, kind of pushing us forward too. So, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I see. So
you.
the competition that you guys have in your bigger business with telecommunication now moves on to Web3. Before I have another question for you, Esra, on that note, so Adilah mentioned a couple of things that make it tricky for large enterprises to move forward more quickly. Are there also some regulational hurdles for you guys to overcome? Is there something that you would wish from the regulators to happen to make your life easier, and what would allow you to move forward much more quickly in the Web3 space and eventually also experiment more?
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing is, for a big company or a big regulated, publicly traded company, actually, we have we cannot just go into the space and do whatever we want. So we have clear regulations and compliance that we have to abide to. We have our own lawyers team that also checks everything what we need to know about projects or about what we are going to do. So the thing is, right now there's still a gray area, so we have to move more carefully and always consult for our next steps. I would say that the European Union with the MiCA regulation, it's a first step, even though I know that it's not everything is perfectly clear, and there's still, in this rapidly developing environment, there can be so much changes that need to be considered. So, but it's still helpful for us to have regulation because then we can move forward in a compliant way, and we understand what we can do and we can't do on the state level. So I would say that Europe in general is going in the right direction. We need to emphasize more on consulting the policymakers, that they understand what the space is about and how it works. I would say that in the US it's a big problem because they don't have any kind of guidance. It doesn't affect us very much at the moment, but still it's a regulatory uncertainty is always bad for companies or institutional players. So I think it's the right direction, but I can only say we have to move forward in this direction and also like on an international level.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing here is like also very interesting. So you guys want to get involved, but there are like some hurdles to overcome, making it much trickier. So what I'm hearing is that Vodafone and Telekom, like those enterprises, are willed to get involved in Web3, but some regulatory problems emerge, so they can't move forward that quickly. But Esra, what are you thinking about the future role of institutions and large enterprises in the crypto industry? Obviously, they understand in what direction the Web3 space is heading, and also that decentralization matters. So, what role will they be playing in this industry? So, can you maybe draw us a picture here?
Yeah, when you look from from my perspective, actually, for the enterprises to have a place to game area, they need the regulation and something to be in compliant with, right? So for that reason, we are working for the regulation. But over there is this fact that regulation always comes behind. That is something that we shouldn't forget about it, because you have the technology and you need something to get in compliant with in the enterprise world. But over there, regulation cannot be the flag holder over there. It cannot go up front. Technology comes and regulation comes accordingly with creating the friendly and right controls over there. So I am actually, for myself, thankful for this flag carrier companies in the industry, because when you do something, we learn from that too, because those are the use cases for the regulations, and to see what's going wrong, what we should do, how we should overcome the problems you are facing with, and making it in a compliant and right way that it will be nurturing the growth, actually. So over there, this is, I think, one of the main issues. And the other one is, we talked about trust enough, so I'm just gonna say only trust and go on. And other than that, as you know, we have so many enterprise tools within the EY Global Blockchain. And we are implementing those tools. We are implementing blockchain tools in the enterprises already for a couple of years. And over there, when I look at the main problems that we try to overcome, one of the main one is the scalability and the interoperability part. Because, for example, one of the most known cases is the supply chain applications. Over there, you have to have all the supply chain on board, and this means many third parties. You can be wishful and you would want to do the integration, but when it comes to your third parties, they might not be that way. So you have to overcome those obstacles, etc. And so many are coming. For example, payment systems part, you have to have those APIs. The financial system should have that infrastructure, etc. It always touches to the third parties, and if you don't have this synergy over there, you cannot finish it up, and you cannot do the outcome will not be the ultimate outcome that you want. So this is too many parties in, and that's why over here the regulation is actually slow. And it's right to be slow, because over there, whatever you are touching, you have to go there and regulate, because this is totally new world for all of us. Digital assets is a new class for everywhere you look from. So wherever it touches, you have to go fix or do something that will service the technology to work in its essence. So I think the synchronization over there is much more better than before. The regulative bodies, they are learning also, and once they start to learn, they are building it brick by brick. So the wall will come out at the end, but until then, we should be patient, and it should be a two-sided relationship, and everybody should be feeding this relationship so that we have the wishful decentralized world that we are wishing for, actually, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a very lovely way to put it. I really love the metaphor with the wall. And also you mentioned something that is music in the ears of Cosmos people, which is interoperability. You mentioned it quite early. Interoperability, here's the golden goose for you, Wolfgang. So we are here at Cosmoverse. So I hope that you are not only for pleasure in Istanbul. So I would love to pick your brain on the thoughts of what the Deutsche Telekom is thinking about the Cosmos right now, Are there like any plans? Have you met like any interesting projects here? So yeah, what's going on with Deutsche Telekom towards the Cosmos?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like first, I want to say that the Cosmos is one of the largest crypto ecosystems. So this is maybe something that's sometimes not always obvious because it's like kind of different, like a different kind of ecosystem that we are used to in general. So it's very, very broad. A lot of sovereign chains, a lot of sovereign projects, and very split. And actually representing decentralization very well, in my opinion. So we are looking at it as one of the largest crypto ecosystems and one of the ecosystems that has incredible innovation and development going on, as we can see here as well. There are lots of amazing projects that are building, starting new, interesting stuff. And like IBC as a core technology is very powerful. We can see that it's like migrating over to many other ecosystems, especially also Ethereum. Also like these bridging solutions to Bitcoin is very interesting. We're looking at that as well. So like there's a lot of stuff going on that that we are highly interested in and monitoring. And yeah, so I think it's very promising.
I'm passing exactly the same question now over to Adilah. We chatted real quick about the Cosmos in Barcelona at Avalanche Summit. So yeah, is there something cooking at Vodafone? So yeah, can you share some thoughts on this as well?
So we're interested in Cosmos on two areas, right? One is interoperability, and the second one is security, right? And by security, I mean replicated security, shared security. These are topics that we are really interested in. Actually, the panel before this was very, very interesting to me. So we're looking really like at that network level. How can we make the network more efficient? How can we reuse capacity on that network, right? And that's why things like shared security, consumer chains, these are topics that are very fascinating to us, right? And of course, interoperability as well. So these are the two topics that we're following very closely from our perspective.
Nice. Yeah, I think we also overstepped our time slightly. So I just don't want that the AV team is hating us much more. So in 2 sentences, where do you guys see your fellow entity in the Web3 space in a couple of years? And what will the landscape look like? Maybe in 2 or 3 short sentences. We will start with Esra.
I will continue to have this wishful thinking. So far it worked actually. So that's all I can say. And I think we're going in a good way. Regulations are coming, and specifically in Turkey, we are working on a promising one. And as what we see from the global, it's the same over there. So I think we're learning from the bad issues, and we're getting our lessons, and it will be getting better. I sincerely believe in that, actually.
Wolfgang?
Yeah, so Telecom connects people, and we do this via all kinds of technologies like the internet, mobile. And now we are going to do this with crypto technology, public blockchain technology. So I see the Telecom as like a core infrastructure provider for the fabric that connects all the ecosystems and also providing significant decentralization to all these protocol layers. And I see a core infrastructure provider for Web3.
Adilah?
So we are a connectivity and communications provider, right? And our goal is to not only bring connectivity to Web 2, but also now to Web 3. And not just to people, but also to things and devices. That's our goal.
What a lovely way to wrap it up. Yeah, thank you guys for flying into Istanbul. Thank you, Esra, for joining us here. Yeah, it was a lovely panel in my view. So thank you guys for attending and answering all of my questions. And with that being said, I'm happy to release you to the last lunch break of Cosmoverse 2023. See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Yuri.